time a river that flows in one direction? Or does it? What if a single choice could reshape destiny? What if the past whispered secrets meant only for you? What if the future was not set in stone? In this video, we step beyond the veil, into the unknown, into possibility. Shuffle the deck, open your mind, and ask yourself, what if? Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner for over 35 years. This is a video that I have been asked for time and time again. I used to do What If Wednesdays, and we are going to do What If Hillary Clinton won the 2016 election. Yeah, I did say it, Gregopedia. I said the whole name. Yeah. So just to give you guys a little bit of background, I actually fell asleep on election night 2016. Gregopedia was at work. And when he came in, I said, what happened? Who won? And he goes, oh. And I go, oh my God, Hillary won? And he goes, no. I said, Donald Trump won? And he goes, yeah. I go, we're living in a Simpsons episode. So I was very surprised that Donald Trump won. Pleasantly surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. So again, I had someone say, I suspect that you're MAGA. Not MAGA, just a libertarian. I like small government. I like people minding their own business and doing the best they can. So we're going to take a look at what's going on, what would have gone on had Hillary won. So I want you guys to buckle up. I want you to get yourself a nice cup of tea, nice warmy cup of coffee. I got a little cappuccino right now. Fun fact, in Italy, you're not supposed to have cappuccino after like 11 o'clock. Someone just told me that. And I was like, oh, I like a cappuccino anytime. So what was that?
In South America, it's a monkey.
What's a monkey?
Cappuccino.
Oh, can you have them after 11 o'clock?
You don't have to have them at all.
Oh, all right. Well, so 2016, Hillary Clinton ran unsuccessfully for the president of the United States. She ran as the Democratic Party candidate with Tim Kaine, a U.S. Senator from Virginia. I believe he is still a U.S. Senator from Virginia to date. Prior to running, she did serve as Secretary of State for Barack Obama's administration. We're going to ask some questions about that if there was a little bodio-toto there. She was also, and that was from 2009 to 2013. She was a senator representing the state of New York from 2001 to 2009, and First Lady of the United States as the wife of Bill Clinton from 1993 to 2001. She was soundly beaten in the general election by Republican candidate, dark horse in the running, Donald J. Trump. So she really was poised to be the Democratic candidate during her time with Barack Obama on his administration. One of the things is that Bernie Sanders seemed to have been a much more popular candidate and really was that radical change that I think Democrats were looking for. Gen Xers specifically. I had a lot of friends that were Democrats that were very, very excited about Bernie Sanders. I think he's a riot. I like watching him, Little Mittens. I think he is an interesting character, and I do love the state of Vermont. So it was kind of surprising that she didn't ask him to be a running mate. She wanted the top job. I think he wanted the top job. By some accounts, she pushed him out of the way, that he was pushed out of the way. So let's kick this off with...
Yeah, that's all that happened.
Well, you didn't have any flights. There were no park benches ready. So I just watched Lionel Nation. My good friend Debbie turned me on to Lionel Nation. Debbie, if you're watching this, thank you so much, my honey. Lionel Nation had a very illuminating episode about the list of people that have had somewhat bad luck around the Clinton machinery. Some bad luck, yes. So, really, honestly. So it's very interesting, the list of the list of things that he had there. So today is February 27th. We're wrapping up the month. And today they are also, Pam Bondi is going to be releasing some of the Epstein information, some of the flight lists. We're not going to get all the information. I don't want anybody to get excited. All accounts, we're not getting all of the information, but we are getting some information. We're going to have a little hint about who was hanging out with that crowd. So I thought this was a great day to record this. We also lost Gene Hackman and his wife and their one dog today. So I was very upset to see that. I'm not going to do any readings on that at the moment because I do think that it was a tragic situation. I don't want to make any speculation on it just yet. I have a feeling I know what happened. But we'll talk about that later. I may do a recording and release it later if it's appropriate. But I really like Gene Hackman. No one is talking about him in the birdcage. Like everyone's talking about.
I think his area was talking about that.
Oh, did he? Did he not wear shoes? Did he fall down? I thought Gene Hackman was fantastic in the birdcage, but my favorite Gene Hackman, I've never seen The French Connection. I'm sorry, I'm going to watch it well, hopefully I'll watch it this weekend. But my favorite Gene Hackman is Lex Luthor. He is my ultimate Lex Luthor. So let's get to the Hillary reading. As always, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. These political readings get me in trouble. The Ukraine reading I did on Zelensky, I just saw my subscribers drop wildly. So I'm sorry. I guess, people have an opinion. I have an opinion. I'm reading the cards. But we're going to start off with how would Hillary have treated Bernie Sanders in the wake of a win in 2016. So let's see if Bernie Sanders got any kind of special treatment. I'm going to bring up that card view. Please like, share, and subscribe, and take advantage of some of my sales. I'm going to have new sales up for the month of March. And on Monday, March 3rd, I am having a members only meeting where we give away either an hour reading or a half-hour reading, depending on the level that you are. If you'd like to become a member and try and get a free one-on-one reading with me privately, go ahead and get in there and grab a membership. I like to give those away in my general lives, but the next couple of weeks, it's been a little bit crazy with the lives because we're in competition season. But let's get these cards up so you guys can see what I see. And let me know what you think of my intro, my what if intro. It was fun to make. So how would a Madam President Hillary Clinton have treated Bernie Sanders in the wake of a win? How would she have treated him? Oh, you're not wrong, Greg. She would have showed him the inside of a linen closet. The Empress in reverse, the King of Swords, the Three of Cups, ooh, the Ten of Cups, Four of Wands. I think she would have finished his political career. Why would she have done that? The likability of him would have been problematic. I think the folks that really leaned into his brand of leadership and radical government, I think they would have had to make his career go bye-bye, if not other things. This world in reverse, I don't think we would have seen the end of Bernie, if you know what I mean. But I think we would have seen the end of his career. I think she would have specifically planted someone in Vermont to take over where he left off. And this was definitely Schadenfreude, definitely. She would not have made a place for him in government. He was someone she did not want to go toe-to-toe with. The King of Swords, just so you guys know, intellectual decision-making kind of individual. But this can also be an executioner, just so you know. And I do think that this is executing the career. He would never see the inside of the White House. So there would have been no share in the win. There would have been no cabinet position for him. There would have been no offered position. She did not want that opposition there. Let's see. How did she see herself? Oh my. Oh my. Yes, the Omega and Alpha. How did she see him? As someone who needed to be eliminated from her anxieties, hopes, and fears. The hope is the death card. Wow. And up top, we have the Three of Pentacles. I think she would have had help, and she would have. I do think that a successful Madam President Hillary Clinton would have had more radical women in her administration. I think Taliba Rashid, who's the other one that married her brother? Allegedly,
Elon Omar.
Elon Omar. I think those types of people would have been in her cabinet more so. Wow, that was grim for Bernie Sanders. I actually thought there was going to be like a cabinet position for him. Inside of a linen closet. How would she have treated Donald Trump? He said a lot of things. The loudest statement, I think, Greg, and you offer up your opinion. The loudest statement was, "If I was in the White House, you'd be in jail." Yeah, that was a pretty. I'm not getting it right, but how would she have treated Donald Trump? How would she have treated Donald Trump? The world in reverse. We get it again. She would have tried to ruin him. By the power of Grayskull, by the power of the government. She would have tried to bankrupt him. This is bankruptcy. Boy, does she hate him. He would have been cast out of government altogether. There would not have been a comeback kid. Had she won, she would have stopped that. She would have turned everyone against him in the government. So, and I do think that Donald Trump's first term, the 2016 to 2020 term, I think he did struggle with a lot of the Republicans that should have been on his side. I think that he did not have the collective push behind him that we're seeing more so now. We're seeing in this 2025 year, we're seeing a lot more cooperation with him, a lot more people that are coming on board with what he is doing. Whereas before we did have like the Mitch McConnells and some other Republican voices that just were not in alignment with him in his first term. So hopes, or how does she see herself with Donald Trump? The destructor of his path, stopping his trajectory. Yes. She saw him as cataclysmic change. He was someone who would destroy her. Again, that "you'd be in jail" comment is huge here. Hopes and fears. Hopes and fears are smooth sailing. He would have caused issues for her term just by the sheer act of being and saying and talking to the media. It would have caused problems. And ultimately, the high priestess, she would have eliminated any opportunity for him. And I do think lawfare is something that we're seeing here. The Hierophant is seats of power. This would have been the government, Supreme Court, those kinds of things. I think she would have gone after him financially, lawfare, trying to really dismantle his legacy and the Trump empire. I think she really would have done that. Would she have tried to put him in jail? There wasn't much that she could put him in jail for. It really would have been tying him up in the court systems and really letting her minions, letting her flying monkeys go after him for a variety of things. His tax returns would have been colonoscopies to the 10th power. They really would have dismantled his finances and really just found a lot of issues there. Everything would have been an issue. So would they have gotten him on something? I don't know. Would she have successfully made something stick? Would she have successfully made something stick? I don't think so. I think, the amount of money that he would put aside to throw at the problem that is Madam President Clinton, I think she underestimated. And I think he would have been able to sustain some kind of battle with her, all the while still spouting what he was spouting. And I do think that would have made him more likable. I think the more lawfare that there was, the more likable he would have become. So interesting, interesting, interesting. So let's talk about the Obamas. Greg, check the ring. Make sure there's no black sedans in front of the house, please. No one's visiting us, are they? So the Obamas. Now, I just watched a very interesting interview with Lindsay Lee, who was one of the chief fundraisers for the Biden 2024 campaign. And subsequently, I think she did help out somewhat with the Kamala Harris campaign, but I think she was kind of a not wanted person, but illuminating interview with her. She has a lot to say about it. I'll link that in the description of this video too. Go over and give it a watch if you have some questions about the condition of Joe Biden from someone on the inside. She's really a persona non grata for the DNC. But some of you may have heard about her. She had raised tens of millions of dollars for the campaign. Very, very astute, bright, adorable, beautiful young lady. So she does say, Lindsay Lee, in that video, that that Joe Biden's term as president was Obama's third term, and that he was looking for a fourth term. So does that mean that Hillary, Madam President, was given passage by the Obamas? Were they facilitating her getting into the White House? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I don't think no be pish. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think that they were facilitating it in the manner that they did with Joe. Did they like her? Did they like her? No, not very fond of her. I get that Michelle took umbrage with Hillary a bit more than Barack. I think Barack's he's a politician. Barack Obama. So how would she have treated the Obamas? Not with love. Knight in reverse, Chariot in reverse. Under the surface, 2 of Cups. No charity. There's that 6 of Swords again. We saw that with Bernie Sanders as well. And Temperance. While on the surface, she would have pretended to really be copacetic, to use a 1980s term, feeling copacetic. I don't think she would have welcomed them back into the fray. I don't think she would have had Barack on speed dial. I don't think she would have been asking him, hey, what do you think? Or calling him in off the bench for assistance. Under the surface, she would have wanted that relationship. But why would she have wanted that relationship? Because of the good reputation. It would have made her stock a little bit higher here. So that is very, very, very interesting. Not what I expected at all. I thought this was going to be a grand cooperation. How does she see herself with the Obamas? Oh, and there we got the devil card in the same spot, Craig.
We just got an alert on our ring.
On our ring?
Yeah.
Is there a black sedan out there?
Nope, just an orange cat.
Oh, an orange cat?
Yes.
Is it Orange Julius?
I think so.
Oh, Orange Julius is on the front porch. So, or is it Edward?
I don't know.
So, how did they see her? They saw her. I don't think they thought she could win. I don't think they were real confident about her winning. That is very interesting. Hopes and fears. The fears that the party was going to lose the ticket and the outcome. Correction. Hopes and fears, Hillary. This isn't about the party losing its panache, but this is about the cohesiveness of the party falling apart if she could not make this illusion with the Obamas. Boy, she really does wear a mask. Outcome, not going to let them have any kind of decision-making power or creative power. You know, one of the things that I get very clearly is Hillary hated to be in the same room as the Obamas because they had a gravitational pull that she did not from the crowd that was around them. So whenever they would share an event and be in the same event, I think people found more interest in going over to the Obamas and hanging out with them and having some fun with them. So that is very interesting. I think they were much, much more likable, a much funner couple. Funner couple. Wow. So my next question's on my list. Would she have become an Obama puppet or would she betray them? Would there have been a circumstance where she would need to become an Obama puppet? Would a circumstance have arrived where she would have needed them? No, she was going to do that all on her own. Even if she didn't have the ability, power, control over the situation, she would have just kind of steamrolled right ahead. So would she have betrayed them? And I'm going to do Barack and I'm going to do Michelle. Would she ever have betrayed Barack? Would she ever have betrayed Barack? Justice. I think she talked about him poorly in certain circumstances with certain individuals. I think she did talk about him poorly. Michelle. So she had a lot to say about Michelle. She did not understand why Michelle had the kind of draw, attraction of people, the riz. I said the riz, the charisma. She didn't understand. She understood the charisma on the part of Barack Obama, but she didn't understand the draw of Michelle. But I do think that Michelle has a certain panache, if you will, that draws people in. I think she is very likable in a conversation. I think she does look people in the eye. I think she is, in a sense, engaged with them when needed. And I do think that this was something that they were at odds. I don't think those two women got along very well at all. What would have happened to Bill? So, you know, the once upon a time, Bill was quite the philanderer. Yeah, he was. Is. Depends on what the meaning of is. So, Bill was kind of all over the place. Like a bad penny, turning up all over the place. So I don't know what that saying means. If you guys know what the saying bad penny means, it's like a bad penny. Let me know in the comments because I think it's a Southern saying. I am not from the South. You guys know that. So what would have happened to Bill if Hillary ascended to Madam President. Well, there he is, all out on his own, playing the saxophone. Oh, he would. Oh, my. Oh, Bill. God bless you. God bless you. So I think Bill would have been left alone at home. And I think he would have been happy about that. I think discounting him as, some stud put out to pasture, some old horse stuck in a field. I think that was a bit insulting to him because he was quite the statesman, quite the governor and president. I did vote for him the first time. I hope my parents don't see this because they'll probably yell at me. But I was young. I was young. I didn't know any better. I felt for the saxophone. So I do think that he would have been left alone, not asked his opinion about anything. And I think he would have been relieved to not have that individual in the home, constantly chasing that brass ring or reaching for that brass ring, trying to, keep that career going. I don't even want to read the cards about what it was like after that. So there's a few things when I go to the great beyond that I want to know about. I want to see what happened the night Nicholas II and his family was killed. I want to see the chaos that went on there and where the directives came from, and where all of their jewels wound up, the Russian imperial jewels. One of the other episodes that I want to see is I want to see what happened in Hillary's war room after she found out she lost. Allegedly, there was a ginormous TV in there, and she flung a bottle of champagne at it and broke it and really threw an excellent hissy fit. So I really, and I could remote view that, but I'm not going to. So I want to know what life would be like with a losing Hillary Clinton in the house. I mean, I'm sure it was unpleasant. I'm sure he ran to closed quarters. But with her winning and being out of the house, I do think that there's a relief of sorts, but there's also this very interesting, well, that's my old office. That's my old office. There's something about her, I got there first. It's not that she doesn't qualify. It's not that she is not an appropriate person. She didn't earn, her stripes to be in there, but it's almost like I got there first. Ha ha ha. So how does Hillary see Bill? Let's start there. Tucked away, business agreement. Remember, Two of Cups, we're looking at businesses here, cooperation. How does Bill see it? I never should have done that. I question whether he felt obligated to get into this situation with her, the marriage, the political career, supporting her political career, all of that stuff. I wonder if he felt obligated and how sweet his life would have been had he not. Hopes and fears. The hope is that he can go out and plant a garden and just live in peace. And the outcome there, no longer daydreaming. Now you're living in the nightmare. So, I do think, would she have pulled him into government, pulled him back in? That would have been part of it. She would have tried to pull him in periodically just for show. I think that would have ended when he started to look really bad, because he was looking bad there for a while. But I think he would have been more content to just stay out of it. Retirement is retirement. No one gets out of the presidency looking great, except for Donald Trump. Donald Trump actually looked exactly the same after his first term. But most presidents age quite notably during their terms. It's a tough job. It's not an easy job. Bill looked like he got older after. So, I don't think that, Bill would have been at home, maybe trotted out, under resistance. for some things, but there's a certain amount of arrogance. I got there first. It was my job first. I did a better job. I think there's some snide comments he would have made. I did a better job at that. My relations were better with China. Speaking of relations, how would our relationship with Russia have progressed under a Hillary Clinton presidency? Because she was quite vocal about, Russian disinformation, Russian interference, Russian this, Russian that. She was quite vocal about it. And then it was proven that Russian dossier was not correct. So how would our relations with Russia have done if Hillary, oh boy, there we go, not successful. Six of Wands in reverse. If Hillary was president, Ace of Pentacles, we wouldn't have been, oh my goodness, Queen of Wands, 10 of Wands in reverse, Page of Pentacles, and outcome, Three of Pentacles. I do think that she would have leaned into some other adversaries of Russia. I think she would have done that. I think she would have created alliances around the world trying to counter Putin. How would she have seen herself? As the great destructor, the stopper of the Putin state? How would Russia have seen her? As an absolute shade bag. Shade bag, that's a new one.
Yeah.
Shade bag. This, I think they would have had a lot to say about her criticisms of them and their alleged interference in the election. Not just Putin, but all of Russia. Hopes and fears. The hope is for a tense peace. This would be knock it off. You're not doing anything under our watch. You are going to sit with your hands folded at the table and let us lead the world. Putin is not that kind of world leader. He is not going to take that kind of directive from someone like Hillary Clinton, who is criticizing him. His brand of diplomacy honors the ability of the other party. I've said time and time again that Putin did not go full bore with Biden because he felt that he was not a worthy adversary, and that he is much more excited now that Trump is back in office so that he has a worthy adversary. Again, not making any excuses for Putin, not a Putin fan here, just how this looks. And decidedly, Hillary said a lot of things that were insulting that you would not have said in a diplomatic situation. What would the outcome have been? The Queen of Cups. She would have interfered with any relationship building that was there. She would have created more of a Cold War Part 2 kind of vibe there. So I don't think that relationship would have gone very, very well. I think it would have change some things. How about our relationships with China? China, China. It's a song by Red Rocks. Red Rocket? Red Rocket. Red Rocket. Is it Red Rocket? It's a great song from the 80s. China, China. One of my favorite songs. I think that is like a desert island disc for me. You like it too now because of me, right, Craig?
Huh?
China.
All right.
Do. So how would we have done with China? King of Swords. Talk to me, baby. 7 of Cups. 6 of Wands. 10 of Wands. We're seeing the same cards that we saw with Russia. Now, remember what I said. Xi Jinping is good friends with Vladimir Putin. They have a lot of things in common, and they are actually friends, not just world leaders in adjacent countries. They are actually friends and have some affability amongst themselves. So I think that Hillary would have come in with these bold ideas about cooperative production, cooperative work between the two countries. I think she would have said, let's foster, let's build some things, not Vince Foster, she would have said, let's foster manufacturing, those kinds of things. Here, I think she would have given a lot of our manufacturing over to China. I think that would have been a trade deal that she would have cut eventually. Manufacture cheap, ship to the United States. We'll cut you a deal on tariffs and taxes and blah, blah, blah. So under the surface, this would have been an underhanded deal. This is everything that we see up top. Okay. And I think she would have created a lot of opportunities. In the whole, she would have been looking to undercut them. It would have been a bad deal. She was trying to create a deal that looked great on the surface and then would have undercut them. This would have interfered with relations with China as well. She saw them as just, I hate to say a backward nation, but she really would look at them as a backward nation that could only produce goods for the rest of the world, that could only do that. How did they see her? As coming out into the sun, seeing her as what? As someone who would decimate the relationship between them. Well, destroy the relationship, but for what? Turning it into this is a wartime situation. No longer thinking, no longer sitting around, but being active. Hopes and fears, baby dolls. Her hope would have been to take advantage of them, to be clever and crafty and do neat things. Up top, the ultimate result, everyone would have backed back into their corners. We would have had xenophobia times 12. It would have been lots of separation between the two countries, breakdowns of communications, because everyone would have been trying to figure out where the other party was getting screwed. Final thing, what would the economy have done? How would she have performed for our economy? Would we have seen an economy that developed or fell apart under Hillary Clinton? Would we have seen an economy that developed or fell apart? Remember, 2016, 2016, would the economy have developed? That looks good. And ultimately, I do think, I'm going to say this, I do think that there would have been some interesting ideas that would have developed some of our economy here in the United States, but they would not have looked backward. This would have been a world economy. It wouldn't have been America first, American manufacturing. I think she would have been cutting deals with other nations in the world to do manufacturing, kind of do the dirty work, and then import things into the United States. Would this have worked great? I think we would have seen some growth, but not as much growth as we would have liked to. I do think that the idea of a high tide rises all ships globally would have been the foundation of her economic plan. So what was the North American Trade Agreement? NAFTA? Wasn't that Bill Clinton? He did that, didn't he? I think we would have seen more of deals like NAFTA, where we had manufacturing in Mexico, China, maybe Canada, who knows? We would have had more manufacturing in other countries and bringing those in. So maybe American countries investing in manufacturing locations in other countries, those kinds of things. Maybe it would have been government investment in factories and manufacturing locations abroad. That probably would have been backdoor deals, but the idea would have been to bring cheap, easy, quickly moved products into the United States for consumer purchasing. Now, I think that might be the rub here, because I do think that the idea of Americans are flush with funds and they can buy goods, they can constantly buy goods. I think that would have been really an idea behind this. There is, a fattening up of certain individuals, certain key people that had a relationship with her or the U.S. government, that would have been done. So the accusation that all Republicans are making their friends rich, it's actually what would have been happening here with a few key individuals. So with the idea of having this more global economy. So would we have seen more of a push for digital money? No, I don't think we would have seen that push for digital money. I think that would have been something that she would have waited on. Would we have seen the same kind of well, I'm going to do a whole spread on that, guys. Would we have seen the same kind of immigration that we saw during Joe Biden? Would the border have been opened with Hillary Clinton? Would the border have been opened with a Madam President Hillary Clinton 2016? Yep, there we go. It's open. It would have been done a little bit differently, though. I think with media, they would have kept that. And there's that devil card again. I think with the media together, I think that would have been a quieter process. I just think they would have been able to conceal the passage of these individuals a little bit better. And again, I think the handshake agreement with some of the neighboring countries that we share border with, I think would have sweetened this deal. I think, let's bring, some people over and we're going to build a factory. Little quid pro quo. Is that actually quid pro quo? I don't know. So I do something for something. I know what quid pro quo. That, but I don't know if I don't know if it fits. When in Rome, a whale's vagina.
San Diego?
Yes, Santiago. So I think there would have been more concealing of the individuals. This would have been hidden. We wouldn't have seen the same kind of immigration in your face that we did with Joe Biden. I just don't think we had much control over that. So would we have seen a second term for Madam President Clinton? Would we have seen a second term? No, I don't think we would have. Why not? Why not? We would have had an upstart show up. Now, would it have been Donald Trump? I don't know. I think we would have seen another face come out of the Democratic Party. I think this young upstart would have been a disillusioned Democrat that came out. So somebody like a Tulsi Gabbard or something like that. I think that's more of what we would have seen. I think there would have been some pushback on the policies and the direction of the country, even though I do think that the economy would have been okay under Hillary Clinton. I don't think it would have been bad. I think our relationship with Russia would not be good. I think we would burn our relationship with China under a Hillary Clinton presidency. But I think that, a lot of people are not foreign affairs, State Department circumstance kind of voters. Most people are voting, like what's his name? Joe Biden, kitchen table topics. A lot of people vote on those: the price of eggs, the price of milk, the cost of car insurance for a 17-year-old boy. If I told you guys what it cost me to add Angus to my insurance policy, your heads would spin. It more than doubled. We are now paying like $11,000 a year for 2 cars and 3 drivers. $11,000 a year. No accidents on our history. So it's pretty horrible. Don't come to New Jersey if you want cheap insurance. But I will be shopping that. So Liberty Mutual, you're on notice. So that's what I got to say about that. So not the scariest reading that I thought we were going to get out of this. I really did think that we were going to see a change in the economy. I didn't think that we were going to see a successful economy. I'm surprised about the digging in of the heels and being so combative with some of our foreign relations, especially since she was the Secretary of State. I just assumed she would polish up those skills. So kind of a very surprising reading here. Let me know what you think. And like I said, go enjoy at the link below the Lindsay Lee interview. It's about an hour and 45 minutes. And then come back and let me know what you think. I thought it was very, very interesting. And I may do a reading on her. I'm just a little concerned about her because she had a lot to say. But a Hillary Clinton presidency is something that I personally was not looking forward to. I found her very, very brash and difficult. Some would say uppity, but I'm not going to say uppity. I just thought that she was a little too male dominant, aggressive. And the first female president I would like to see still honor her femininity and not try and behave like a male statesman. And I felt that she tried to emulate the male statesman just a little bit too much. So is the world ready for a female president? I don't know. Maybe in another generation or so. I just don't think that it fits the directive right now. So that's my opinion. Let me know what your opinion is. Let me know what your opinion is of Hillary Clinton herself. I'm saying the whole name, guys. I'm saying the whole name. So if you don't see any videos from me, check our Ring camera on the Neighbor app and make sure that there are no sedans pulling Gregopedia and I out of the house. But until I record again, I will see you guys in the future.